There is no such thing as time management, and if you want to become a highly successful person, there are secrets that millionaires, multimillionaires, and even billionaires follow that you're not implementing, and that's why you're not getting the results that you need to get in your life to support your family, to support your future, and most importantly, to reach your full potential. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the daily and weekly planning habits of multimillionaires, of the most productive people on planet Earth. I'm going to break it down into 5 specific steps along with 2 tips before you go through these 5 steps. Now, why is this so important? Because so many people get this wrong. Time management doesn't exist. It all has to do with priority management. I know you've heard that before, blah, 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 right? But what is priority management? What does that really mean? Because we all want to feel wildly productive. We all want to feel like we're getting so much done every week and every single day, right? I'm sure you want to feel that way if you're watching this video. But what's the problem? Where's the disconnect between wanting high productivity and actually reaching it? Well, the biggest myth is that a lot of people think that being highly productive is just working constantly and getting a lot of stuff done, right? That is completely wrong. You've had so many days where you've just went through the motions and you've done these low value tasks throughout the entire day, right? And then you felt like, well, I don't really feel that good because I worked hard, but I worked at the wrong things. That's the key. Now, the most productive people on planet Earth and the most successful and the most financially successful and successful in their families and their futures, they follow a different protocol, and it starts with priorities first, okay? So it all comes down to what are your priorities. If you're clear on your weekly priorities, this is the big insight, if you're clear on your weekly priorities, then daily productivity is easy. But if you don't know what your weekly priorities are, then it's hard to have daily productivity, right? So I'm going to walk you through these 5 steps in a second. Before I walk you through this, I want to give you 2 tips. The first tip is whenever you are going through this planning process, always start with a debrief, right? So always start with a debrief. Always start asking yourself, what did I do well last week, right? What did I do well last month, last quarter? Where were the times throughout a certain time window in the past where I was crushing it, where I had so much momentum versus the times where I felt like, I'm not really happy with what I'm doing, I'm grinding the gears again, or this is the worst, you're spending too much time on things you don't need to be doing. Okay, so let's dive in. And one other tip I want to give you is to set a time limit when you're going through this exercise. Sometimes people can spend way too much time prioritizing, right? And I just want to invite you to not spend that much time prioritizing because you already know deep down what you need to be doing. It's about making that decision, not just spending a ton of time on prioritization tasks. All right, so let's go through these 5 specific steps. All right, this is the first step. Write out your annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. I'm talking about before you schedule your day, before you even schedule your week, okay? You have to write out the big picture, even your 3-year, your 5-year, your 10-year goals. Write out where you're going first, right? Because oftentimes when we plan our days, when we plan our weeks, when we plan our months, we don't think about, wait, who am I gonna be in the future? Where do I want to be in the future? What things do I want to master in the future? What things should I be doing versus what things shouldn't I be doing as it relates to my annual, quarterly, and big picture monthly goals, right? So that is the first step, always, 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 when you're trying to get into a prioritization train, a freight train of productivity and prioritization. So that's step 1. List your most important annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. This is the first step of the prioritization process for highly successful people. Step 2, okay, now we can start listing out and thinking through what's this week's top priorities and then the tasks that go beneath each of those priorities. Now, as you enter each week, yes, this should be done each week. It should be done on a rolling 7-day cycle, right? That's how you're going to stay focused on the right stuff, right? Prioritization does not happen quarterly or annually. It happens with a weekly habit so that you're right on the right stuff every single week, okay? So step number 2, again, is write out this week's focus projects and tasks. Okay, here's what I mean by that. I want you to write out no more than 10 projects that should have your attention, at least just have your attention for the next 7 days. That's it. So what are those top 10 projects? Think about categories of your business, of your life, right? Think categorically, okay? Well, here's kind of like the marketing projects we have going on, right? Maybe you have a big event coming up, that could be one project, right? Right, so marketing project. Then we have sales projects, right? Then we would have client experience project if you run a business, right? Or there would be personal projects like health, right? There would be, there would be spiritual projects, right? Whatever it is, however you want to categorize it, write out categories and then projects, no more than 10, before you start scheduling your day, before you start scheduling your week, okay? So projects, and then what are tasks? Well, tasks are the individual steps that need to be completed that ladder up to that big project that you need to get done, right? So a task is not a project, it's an individual element, it's a to-do list item, it's just what it sounds like, a task that if completed will move one of those 10 project categories forward. Does that make sense? I hope you're digging this, okay? Now, key thing here is that the 10 projects that you list, they are could-be's. They're things you could be focusing on for the next week, but that does not mean that you should be focusing on all of them, okay? So once you've listed out your focus projects and tasks for the next 7 days, then I want you to do step 3, which is one of the most important tasks, is to prioritize that list of projects and tasks that you just wrote out. See, oftentimes we write a to-do list when we start our week. We write a list of all the stuff we want to get done, but we don't critically think through what must get done this week, what could get done next week, and then what could be just deleted. Those are your A, B, and C level tasks, right? When I interviewed Brian Tracy a few times, we have some videos when I interviewed him, he talked about the A, B, and C level priorities, right? And he has changed so many people's lives with this concept that it made so many multimillionaires, so many highly successful people in their businesses, so many highly successful people who work with companies that are going somewhere, etc., that it just blew up, right? A, B, and C priorities. So you list out your projects and your tasks, and then you assign an A for the things that must get done this week, B to the things that could be pushed to next week, and a C to the things that, they should probably be deleted. Then, that's not it. You also number prioritize within the A, B, and C categories, okay? So you'll have A1, A2, A3. So must be done this week, 1. Must be done this week, 2. Got it? Okay, then you do the same thing for B, then you do the same thing for C. And only when you've finished in this week, only when you finish the A, priorities, all of them numbered from 1 all the way up to 10, right? Because there should only really be 10 task level priorities for any given week, unless you're thinking you're going to get too much done in 1 week. Unless you have a big team, you can have like 20 and then all of it gets delegated out. But for most of us, we shouldn't have more than 10 like really key needle-moving A-level tasks. The rest should be Bs, which are next week, and the rest should be Cs, which get deleted. And again, in your B category, you'll list 1 to 10 again, right? So what are the Bs listed in order of priority, right? And then Cs, you don't necessarily need to number them because they're getting deleted anyway, so don't waste your time on that, okay? So step number 4, after you've listed out projects and the tasks within them, you've number graded them, letter graded them, right? Now you have to delegate 80%, right? So delegate 80% of the projects and tasks. Now I know if you don't have a team, maybe you're just getting started out, maybe you work within a company, I don't know where you're at right now, but I will tell you this, if you can't learn how to utilize the skills of other people, right, in your own life, in your own business, you're just not going to advance as quickly as you could in reaching your vision, reaching your purpose, and reaching your mission, right? So the next step is to align and communicate this list of the A 1 through 10 tasks, the B 1 through 10 tasks, and to align them with the right people, right? So the thing to ask yourself before you do this, okay, again, is go ruthless here. Ask yourself, wait a second, I know this, I put this in as A, I know I put this in as B, but can I delete this task? Can I optimize this task? Can I automate this task? Does this task really have to get done in the first place before I go assign it to someone else? So if you're like, yeah, okay, Bill, this task actually has to get done. Okay, then we'll proceed to choosing who, whether it's a freelancer, whether it's someone on your team, whether it's someone you work with, whether it's someone who you can collaborate with, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids. I don't know who it is you need to delegate this task to, right? But you need to delegate the task to somebody. And if you're within a company where they won't let you delegate stuff and actually hire freelance, you should see in our company, every single person in our team is pushed to go outsource stuff. Delegate the low value tasks. And I suggest you do the same thing in your business so that your team can start delegating. Your team can start getting freedom and start focusing on the higher value tasks and what they do, okay? So when you're deciding who to delegate a task to, I want you to think through two levels. I learned this from my coach, Cameron Herold, and he talks about the skill and commitment balance, right? Does this person you're about to give this task to, do they have the skill in the area that you're about to delegate to them this task to? And do they have the commitment to knock it out of the park, right? Skill means they have a proven track record around it. And commitment means that they are going to want to prove you right for delegating it to them, right? So if they're high on the skill and the commitment level, right? So you do it on a scale of 0 to 2. 0 on skill, 1 in skill, 2 in skill. 0 in commitment, 1 in commitment, 2 in commitment. If they're a 4, you can basically just give them the task, even just give them the overall goal. Just remind them of the project and say, hey, go do it, and they'll get it done. That's a 4 on the skill and commitment scale, right? But if they're anywhere below a 4, okay, the lower they are, the more hand-holding they'll need, right? So that's called situational leadership, right? Is understanding who you're delegating to. All right, so the next one is to decide, that's right, not ask, not, wonder how much time, decide how much time and resources will be devoted towards each task. If there is resources that need to be invested, the most important thing is deciding time, right? Because if you tell someone that you work with, hey, I need X task done, they don't know whether you want them to spend an hour on it, 3 hours, or 10 hours on it, right? So you got to say, hey, here's the task, but I don't want you to spend more than X minutes on it and then just report back to me after X minutes, right? So you set the limits around time and resources when you delegate the task, right? Then this is the most important part. Once you've selected the person, once you've decided what lines in the sand you're going to draw for delegating this project, then this is the magic part that most people miss. I need you to clearly brief whoever it is that you're going to be delegating this project to. I need you to brief them on what are your expectations, what are they responsible for, what's the deadline, what's the budget, right? Oftentimes we hand off tasks to people, but we haven't actually delegated it, like really delegated it. Follow this step. Step 4, delegate 80% of your projects and lists each week, right? And immediately you'll have dramatically more free time than you've ever had in the history of your life. Trust me, it is amazing. And here's the beauty. You don't have to go live the 4-hour work week, but you can. But if you want to create an impact in the world, which you also can with this strategy, you're now going to have free time to focus on higher level tasks because you've delegated 80% of the things that were most important. Now for the remaining 20%, step 5 is the last step for a reason, and it's schedule out what you will be doing this week, okay? And do it in blocks. So once you've decided what you're going to do versus what others can do for you, you're then going to schedule a maximum, okay, over a week. You can do this on a Sunday, you can do this on an early Monday, you can do this at the end of the week on Friday, but the goal is to enter each week with preset priority blocks in your calendar of those top, whatever it ends up being, the top 5 to 7 priorities that make it to your calendar at the beginning of a week, right? And you want to start putting in, okay, well, this made it to my calendar. Also, another type of meeting is gonna be meeting with the people that you're handing off a project to. So I have many meetings this week where I'm just meeting with 3 to 5 different people on my team of almost 50. I'm meeting with multiple members of my team, and I'm gonna explain to them what's the purpose, what's the outcome, what's the agenda, what are we trying to get done this week? I'd like to hand this off to you. When can we expect it to get done? I'd like you to spend no longer than X in this first round of it, then come back to me, all that good stuff. So some of your big priority items may be meetings with others to brief them on what you want them to get done, okay? Another thing would be to film Loom videos, okay, on your computer explaining what this project is and then sending it to your team via Slack or via email so that they can on their own time understand what you want from the project. Or you can do it through the project plan, right? If you want to download our project plan, I'll put the link in the description, tools.smbteam.com, and you'll get our project planning template, which is where you actually itemize what is this project, right? And then you can actually email or Slack that project plan to someone as well, right? These are all things that can go in your calendar. Meetings with others to delegate, right? I always say the top role of a CEO or a leader in any area, right, of a business or life is to instill vision and goals so that others can have clarity, right? So the last thing I want you to do is, again, we're going through the calendar, we're putting out these priority blocks based on that final 20% list, meetings with others, right? And then private time work. That's really the only two options. Time alone, doing high value stuff, and time with others, delegating and getting others clear on the vision of certain projects and initiatives that must get done. The absolute number one thing at the end of this entire exercise is to look at your calendar and ask yourself, does everything in my calendar align with my future hourly rate? Let's say you want to double your income, but you're only spending your time on $10 an hour tasks. You're not going to double your income. So you got to start spending time on higher value stuff. And nobody, that's right, nobody is going to do it for you. So start now, focus on higher value stuff, focus on the stuff that's going to advance your career, your business, your family, your life, those top priorities, okay? And I hope you found this video valuable. This is how millionaires, the most successful people on planet Earth, okay, so many people that I have learned from in the $600,000 a year I spend on masterminds and in scaling my own business from 0 to $20 million in 4 years and 3 months as a 30-year-old, very quickly scaling my company using these exact practices to stay focused on the critical few and not let distractions pull me away from what I must, with blinders, be focused on every single week. I hope you found this video valuable. Stay great. Please subscribe to our channel for more content like this that can enhance your business, enhance your life, and I will see you in the next video. Stay great, stay powerful, and go implement this. Adios.